Hello everyone and welcome back to Cupid Parasite. Today we're doing another episode of Gill Lovecraft. And it said knock out something and I don't know what that said. It's fine. Yeah, it's been a long time since I did Gill and I apologize, but Koyo's route was just really good and I ripped. So I kind of binged played it. So sorry, but you guys should go watch it. It's really good. Anyway, we're going to be doing Gill today and we're probably going to do a long video today. We're going to do an hour and a half is what I'm going to aim for. Whether or not that gets edited tonight, I don't know, because that puts me like 4 hours from now uploading, and that puts me at 3 a.m. and I get tired during that time. So it's possible that I could get really sleepy during editing and just put it off for tomorrow. But since Gil's last episode was only like 34 minutes or something like that, we're going to do an extra long one today. So the episode count is kind of the same, and that way Gil doesn't feel neglected. Anyway, it has been 2 days after our wedding. At the place where Gil saved Ralph from oysters. Before we headed back to Lost York, we checked out the Neptune Festival at the park in Baltimore. The place was bustling with people strolling around and eating. I couldn't help but squeal at the lively atmosphere. I think that's the statue of Mars, isn't it? That looks like her dad. Wow, so this is the Neptune Festival.
そうだよ。懐かしいな。
Oh yeah?
ロサンヨークに出てからは一度もボルトモアに帰らなかったからさ。
He'll mention that he left for Lost York University without his parents' support. He felt he wouldn't have any freedom if he stayed. Oh, it's been a while for you, Gil.
でも全然変わってないな。子供の頃に来た時と同じだ。
But why is it called the Neptune Festival?
ネプチューンは海を司る神様でしょ。だから漁業の成功を祈るんだ。ボルトモアは大きな漁港があるから。
Alright, I've never been to a festival where people pray to a god, so this is how they do it. Neptune, that must be Lord Poseidon. I started looking around with interest. I wondered if there were any festivals for Cupid somewhere.
かわいいな。でもほら、そんなはしゃいだら迷子になるよ。
Gil grabbed my hand just as I was about to dart off. His hand was warm and big. Well, I didn't know Lord Neptune was so popular.
そこそっか、そうだよな。君にとっては知ってる神のお祭りなんだ。
Gil's like on cloud nine. Like, he's been super happy since his wedding. He's just happy all the time. Reflecting on Celestia, my unreachable homeland, I wandered through the Neptune Festival alongside Gil.
ほら見て、あそこにネプチューン像があるよ。
That's supposed to be Lord Neptune?
似てない？
Well, Lord Neptune is bigger and way more muscular.
へえ、そうなんだ。ネプチューンってどんな神様なの？
Well, he's much calmer than Dad, but he can get just as fierce if you make him mad.
君のお父さんと同じぐらい荒々しいんだ。あはは、怒らせたくはないな。
Don't worry, the Dicostants rarely ever get mad at humans.
その神のうちの一人を俺怒らせちゃった気がするけど。
That's because you're going after his daughter, and you even showed him your secret angel love profile on your phone of pictures of her. I don't think I would take kindly to that either. I was thinking about the time he journeyed to Celestia for my sake and stood his ground against Dad.
お父さん、元気かな？
He's always energetic. When I talked to them about the wedding, he and Mom said they were going on a honeymoon too.
連絡取ってたの？
Yeah, recently they got Lady Minerva to teach them how to use a smartphone.
深海もスマホ解禁なんだ。
Yes, they're busy planning their honeymoon, but they said they'll come to visit eventually.
楽しみにしとくね。
You don't sound very looking forward to it. We continue chatting about Celestia as we explore the Neptune Festival when a familiar voice rang out. Oh, really?
いらっしゃいいらっしゃいおいしいクラブケーキバーガーを用意してるよ
I don't know why, but I expected Lady Minerva. But I'm glad it's not her. It's his brother. Gil, isn't that...
兄さん
Yes, that was Gil's older brother wearing a burger joint hat.
あ、ギルじゃないかなんだ、ネプチューン祭りに来てたのか
それ俺の方のセリフだよ。出店するなら教えてよ。結婚式にも来てくれてたのに、どうしてそこで教えてくれなかったんだよ。
いやー、なんていうか自分の力を試してみたくてさ LCI 社のみんなにもバレたくないし
Gil's brother mumbled and looked away. Looked like he hadn't told everyone yet. Makes sense, the news would probably blow it out of proportion. The people thought it was a new business venture for LCI. I doubted Gil's brother would want that. Regardless, the enticing aroma of sizzling burgers wafted through the stand where Gil's brother was busy working. Wow, that smells amazing. Gil, let's have lunch here.
うん、そうだね。そうしよっか。
Can I have a crab cake burger set?
俺も同じの一つ。
二人ともありがとう
Gil's brother immediately started making the burgers, eyes shining. After a while, he handed us plates with burgers.
はいお待ちどうさま熱々のパティに恋も燃え上がる恋結びクラブケーキバーガーセットです
Spice up your love life.
何なんて言ったの
Like, they don't need that. Their love life is already spicy enough.
いやだから熱々のパティに恋も燃え上がる恋結びクラブケーキバーガーセット
そんな名前だったのメニューには書かれてないみたいだけど。
いやなんだか恥ずかしくて
喋るのはいいんだ。
Yeah, right. I thought the same thing when I first met him, but it was clear that he's Gil's brother. Wait, brother, where's your girlfriend? She calls him brother.
はーい、ここにいるわ。
あれなんだか雰囲気変わったね。
She was supposed to marry Galen since he was the heir to LCI. That was why Gil knew her too. Gil looked surprised as his brother's girlfriend smiled.
まあね、ゲイリーといろいろ話し合って好きな格好をすることにしたの。
いや聞いたら結構これまで婚約者として気を使わせちゃってたみたいでさ本当に悪いことしたよ
もうそのことはいい子なしだって話し合ったでしょ。気にしてないんだからあなたも気にしないの。
ありがとう本当に君は俺の女神だよ
Sounds like a true Lovecraft at heart.
なんか DNA 感じるな。
I know, right? That's true.
とにかく君に言われたおかげでうまく話し合うことができたんだありがとうリネットさん
You're welcome. As a former Cupid, I was overjoyed to see lovers that were so happy.
ねえねえ、あそこのハンバーガー美味しそうじゃない？ほんとだ。そろそろお昼にしようか。すみません、クラブケーキバーガー2つお願いします。
あ、お客さんが来ちゃった。じゃあ俺たちはもう行くよ。
It makes me happy when I can hear Japanese lines without reading it and know exactly what they say. It helps that crab cake burger sounds like crab cake burger in Japanese, but still. I was spacing out and I heard that line and I knew exactly what they were saying before I even read it. I hope to get that way with all Japanese. Like, I want to be able to speak it fluently. I eventually would like to retire in Japan but I heard that you have to be a citizen, and to be a citizen, you have to speak Japanese. So that's my goal anyway. Sorry, my voice just cracked there. My voice is feeling a lot better. It's not raspy as much. I mean, it kind of is now, but because I played D&D all day. But yeah, it's doing a lot better. I watched Gil's brother happily go back to his customers as we sat down on a nearby bench. The pickles and the fries were on the side, making this meal look absolutely appetizing. I took a bite out of the burger. You're right, the sauce tastes so unique. The sauce seemed to have crab flavors as well as other spices. It had a bit of a kick to it, making it all the more delicious. There were a lot of burger joints in Lost York, but this burger could definitely compete with them.
兄さん、よかったな。夢も叶えられて幸せそうで。
Yeah, you're right about that. Back when I returned to Celestia, if I had shot the leaded arrow that I was told to by Dad, I would have ended up erasing their love. It was a time when the gods would just take away happiness from lovers. I knew I made the right decision. I proved that not all God's actions are justifiable. With those thoughts in mind, I surveyed Baltimore Park, happily biting into the delicious burger. The vibrant festival was a testament to the culture that humans had crafted. I continued to marvel at the ingenuity of humanity. Those thoughts occupied my mind as I gazed out over the lake. Numerous boats were adrift, but there was one that didn't require manual rowing. It's a swan boat. I found a boat with a unique shape and it got me excited. I saw it before on Instagram, but it was my first time seeing it in person. Even though everyone appeared happy rowing their boats, that particular one got all of my attention. While I was staring at it, I heard a giggle next to me.
食べ終わったら次は白鳥ボート乗りに行こっか。
Huh? How did you know I wanted to?
わかるよ。だって君の顔に乗ってみたいって書いてあるんだから。
But are you sure?
もちろんだよ。君がしたいことは俺がやりたいことだよ。
Gil laughed heartily. Gil was always spoiling me, but that was what made me so happy. After we finished our burgers, we went to the boat dock and then... I knew this was going to be a CG. I'm like, I think I remember this being a CG. Wow. The lake shimmered, reflecting the sun's rays. A comforting breeze swept through the area, and I could feel my excitement growing. This feels good.
そうだね。
Gil was always smiling. It reassured me that he was truly enjoying this too. We synchronized our paddling, but it didn't seem to go in the direction we wanted. Our swan boat sluggishly wandered around the lake. Oh, it turned right. These pedal-type boats sure are hard to control.
そうなんだよ。俺も子供の頃よく兄さんと乗ったけど全然息が合わないから大変でさ。でもコツがあるんだ。こうして一緒に力を合わせて漕げば。
Hey, it moved forward. My controller vibrated.
ね。
Gil matched my moves precisely, and the boat suddenly was able to move forward smoothly. We cut through the water as we made good progress. It felt so fun, making me smile even more. Wow, this feels great, Gil.
本当に可愛いな。
I heard him say that in a heartfelt way. I couldn't even count the number of times he said that to me today. Oh, Gil. I was with the love of my life, and he always said he loved me, whispering words of love to me, like how cute I am. We dated and got married, and we were still on our honeymoon, but it still felt like we just started dating. I was not expecting a choice to just pop up randomly here. Go slower. But it's not a save, so let's see. We're gonna go faster in the rowboat first. There. I wanted to feel the wind more, so I accelerated. Gil immediately matched my pedal string. We were a perfect team. It's so nice that we can communicate without even saying a word. While I was thinking that, I looked at Gill's face. That was when something cold touched my cheek. Eee! You were going too fast, and the water splashed me, and it was colder than I thought.
大丈夫？ほら、冷えないようにこれで拭いて。
Gill immediately took out a handkerchief and wiped my cheek for me. The warmth he showed was so comforting. With him at my side, I thought I'd always be at peace. Thanks, Gill.
どういたしまして。
We were soon paddling, and we were going at a more appropriate speed. The sun's rays bounced off the surface of the lake, producing a blinding flash. I cherished this moment with Gill. Go back up now. Alright, now we're gonna go slower. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted an unusual bird. I slowed my pedaling to get a better look. Gill immediately slowed down his pedaling too.
何か見つけた？
Yeah, that bird on that tree over there. I don't think I've seen it before. Do you know anything about it, Gill? There are a few cute yellow birds standing on one of the branches by the lake.
あれはボルトモアムクドリモドキだよ。この一帯にはよくいるんだ。近くに行って見てみる？
Yeah, I sure do. We coordinated our pedaling to steer closer to the tree. There were birds preening themselves adorably. Some chirped cheerfully, bobbing their heads up and down in a rhythmic dance. Is that a mating ritual? That's funny she asked that.
うん、きっと。俺たちみたいに運命の相手が見つかるといいね。
Umino is destiny, isn't it? Oh yeah, destined. I'm like, wait, I don't see the word destiny in there. Yes, you're right. In my heart, I wished for their well-being. Gill and I continued to watch the birds, reveling in our shared happiness. Soon the sun set, and now it was nighttime.
夕ご飯何にしよっか。
More crab cake burgers. There were decorative lights all around the Neptune Festival to light up the park. The two of us walked slowly through it. We had burgers for lunch, so... A rich aroma caught my attention. I looked towards the source and saw a stand grilling oysters. The shop next to us was selling raw oysters. There were some fried oysters and sauteed ones too. Oh, that looks delicious. There are so many oyster stands.
あ、そういや、オイスターまだ食べてなかったね。ボルトモアはオイスターの名産地なんだ。新鮮なやつがいっぱいあるんだよ。
Then let's have some oysters for dinner.
そうだね。ボルトモアビールと一緒に食べたら絶対美味しいだろうな。飲んでいい？
Of course, I could go for a beer too. Okay, oh really?
じゃあ、そこ座って待ってて。
So random. The Neptune Festival was in full swing, so there were tables and chairs scattered all around Baltimore Park. I claimed a table, and Gill soon returned, arms loaded with oysters and beer. Oh
は
my
い、
goodness.
お待たせ。
Wow, that looks good. Thank you. The oysters were artfully presented with avocados and tomatoes. Honestly, it was mouthwatering. I've never seen such enormous, glossy oysters. No wonder Baltimore was known for them. Let's eat. I chowed down, and the oysters were just amazing. They were the best I'd ever had. Oh my gosh, this is so good.
これだよ、これ。やっぱボルトモアのオイスターは美味しいな。
Every time people eat and talk, it just makes me laugh every single time. Like, Shelby has the best chewing and talking noises. Like, he just tops all of them. Like, it makes me slightly uncomfortable listening to it. Anyway, these oysters were especially from Gill's hometown, so he was happy. We devoured our entire plate, prompting Gill to fetch more. His joy was infectious, bringing a smile to my face.
でも、オイスターって言うとラウルを思い出すな。
I was wondering if Raoul's going to get brought up in here. Oh, Raoul got food poisoning from oysters at the Neptune Festival, huh?
そうそう、俺がラウルにネプチューンだと勘違いされかけた時のことね。
Because you saved him.
懐かしいな。何年前だったっけ？ 男の子が倒れてるから慌てて救急車を呼んで、必死に介抱してた相手がその後有名なシリウッド俳優になるなんて、あの時は思わなかったよ。
You guys reconnected during a magazine interview, right?
そうそう、インタビューの取材で命の恩人だなんてラウルに言われた時は本当にびっくりしたよ。
What a wild coincidence.
だね。その後まさかパラサイト5として一緒にシェアハウスするなんて、人生何があるかわからないよ。でもオイスターの名産地であるボルトモアでオイスターに当たるなんてラウルもついてないよな。ボルトモアじゃオイスターの衛生管理は毎年かなり厳しくされてるはずだし。
Just that I noticed a person sitting next to us slump over. Oh, really? Huh?
ちょっと大丈夫ですか？
気持ち悪い。
The young man was doubled over, suggesting that something he had eaten was to blame. On his table were raw oysters.
これまさかオイスターに当たった？
From oysters? As far as we could tell, he'd been eating raw oysters before he'd suddenly keeled over. But his were from a different shop than ours, marked with a green oyster logo.
大変だ。とにかく救急車を呼ばなきゃ。リネット、お願い。
Yes. I need an ambulance now. We're at Baltimore Park. A man might have food poisoning from oysters. While I called for help, Gill tried to comfort the sick man. You call an ambulance for food poisoning? Like, I would think they would have other emergencies to go to.
大丈夫。すぐに救急車来るから。安心して、落ち着いて。
Gill kept the man on his side, rubbing his back in an attempt to ease his discomfort.
気持ち悪い。クラクラする。
大丈夫。そばにいるから。ゆっくり息吐いて。すぐに救急車が来るからね。
Good enough, the ambulance arrived.
どうされましたか？
この人、オイスターに当たったみたいなんです。
ダメだ。吐く。
The man groaned, his face pale. The EMT quickly loaded him onto the stretcher. Gotta take you to the
お
hospital,
二人は
man.
ご友人ですか？
Can't have you thrown up all over the place.
いや、ただ、すぐ近くにいただけで。
承知いたしました。
After thanking us, the EMT hopped back into the ambulance, which sped away. A crowd of onlookers watched it go, and only then did we breathe a sigh of relief.
ああ、焦った。すごく苦しそうだったね。
びっくりした。今のオイスターに当たったのかな。
Are we finally getting into the conflict of Gill's story?
やっぱ生で食べるのは怖いな。焼きオイスターにしようっと。
We're okay, right?
多分ちゃんとした店で買ったし、今の人のお店とは違うしって、あれ？
Gill's eyes widened as he looked at the shop's logo.
この店、もしかして。
Gill dashed over to the tent bearing the green oyster logo. Peering into a box at the back, he gasped. Uh-oh.
やっぱり
What's wrong?
さっきの人が食べたオイスター、賞味期限が切れてるよ。
I see. 8/20/2020, so they expired 4 years ago. If you're going by today's date. What? Gill pointed at a wooden box of oysters and the expiration date clearly visible. This date, he's right, they're way past due.
賞味期限切れ？何の話？
A few tourists stopped when they heard Gill's outcry. A man who seemed to be at the shop's manager emerged from the back of the tent.
おいおい、ちょっと兄ちゃん。嘘つくんじゃない。買わないなら、とっととどっか行ってくれ。
He sounds like a con man too.
いや、ちゃんとこれ見てよ。賞味期限3日も切れてる。まさかこのオイスターお客さんに出したの？
何の話かわからねえな。おいお前ら、こいつを追い払
えい、店長。ほら、邪魔だから言った言った。
ちょっと。
As the employees started pushing us, Gill forcefully shrugged off their hands.
さっき倒れた人が食べてたオイスターの色艶が悪いから変だと思ってたんだよ。オイスター店があの色に気づかないはずない。分かってて賞味期限切れのオイスター出したんでしょ。ダメだよ。ちゃんと衛生管理しなきゃ。
はあ？ちゃんとしてるに決まってるだろ。
言いがかりはよしな、兄ちゃん。
言いがかりじゃないよ。じゃあこの賞味期限はなんだよ。というか前にラウルが食べて当たったのもここだったと思うんだけど、もしかしてもう何年も賞味期限切れのオイスターを出してるんじゃないの？
たく、何をバカなこと言ってるんだ。
営業妨害をするなら予想当たってくれ。
営業妨害じゃないよ。このままじゃまた当たる人が出てくるかもしれないじゃないか。一度当たると怖くなってその後何年もオイスターが食べられなくなる人だっているんだよ。それにこれじゃボルトモアのオイスターの信用がなくなるじゃないか。分かったらちゃんと管理して。
Oh my goodness. Before Gill could finish his sentence, the manager punched him, knocking him back. Gill?
まったく、勝手なことは言わんでくれ。最近はこうした営業妨害も多いからな。どうせ同業者のやっかみだろ。ほら、とっとと言った言った。そこにいられると商売の邪魔で仕方ないよ。
His voice is so annoying. The manager picked up the box with the expired oysters and carried them inside the tent to hide them. Gill, are you alright? I hurried over to Gill, who was collapsed on the ground. He has suffered a severe blow and appeared to be disoriented. He's hurting bad. I need to cool the spot where he was struck. I asked the oyster shop we'd bought from for some ice, then helped Gill back to his feet. Gill, you okay? I gently pressed some ice against Gill's cheek for relief. He winced before gradually fluttering his eyes open. I don't know why, but I just assumed he got punched in the stomach. I guess he got punched in the face. Gill, you okay?
俺どうして倒れあ、そっか殴られたんだ俺。
Yeah, are you alright? Still hurts. I can call an ambulance.
いや大丈夫だよ。少し痛いだけだから。
Gill delicately touched the spot where the blow had landed, wincing once more. Gill, don't push it. I think you should chill it for a bit.
ありがと
Gill nodded, looking a little down.
う。ごめん君に迷惑かけて。情けないな。
That's not true. You were admirable, standing up for the oysters.
でも殴られて一発で倒れるなんて情けないよ。
Standing up for the oysters? Shouldn't you be standing up for the people eating them?
きっとラウルならパンクラチオンで勝てたんだろうな。
As long as he doesn't fight naked, right? I don't think many people know pancreas shit to begin with.
俺ご んなに弱かったんだ。全然知らなかったよ。
Oh, great. Here we go. He's going to have an inferiority complex too, just like Ryuki did. You're not weak, Gil. Anyone would have gone down if they got hit like that.
でも殴られてすぐ気絶するなんてさすがに弱すぎるよ。殴り返すどころか一発で伸びちゃうなんて、こんなに弱かったら襲われた時に君を守れないじゃないか。俺強くならなきゃ。体鍛えて。それより。
Gil mumbled to himself. I heard the distant sirens of an ambulance. Looked like another case of oyster food poisoning. Gotta be those expired oysters. I hope that person from earlier is okay. The Neptune Festival should have been fun, but the sour memories of the expired oysters spoiled it all. We ate tasty oysters, but it would have been a disaster if they caused trauma like what happened to Raoul. Thank you and goodbye. Okay. Our honeymoon vacation had ended. Back to Lost York. On our last day off, we finally returned to Lost York. It felt good to be back in the bustling cityscape.
楽しかった。
It really was. We had the wedding ceremony and went to the Neptune Festival. We were busy.
ついに今日で休暇も終わりか。あっという間だったな。
We're back to work tomorrow, so how about we just relax at home today?
そうだね。食材を買って今晩は家で夕飯を。
Phil paused in front of the movie theater, his eyes skimming over one of the posters.
あ、プラチナマンの新作だ。へえ、もう上映してるんだ。
It's Iron Man 2. Platinum Man was a popular superhero movie about a guy who battled in a power suit made of platinum. Oh, really? That takes me back. I think we watched the first Platinum Man back in college.
これ結構好きだったんだよね。どうする？せっかくだし見てく？
So what, that was like 5 years ago? They were in college for 4 years, right? But I thought she'd been in the human realm for 6. But still, like 6 years in between movies is quite a bit. Sounds great. Gill and I were returning to work the next day. We had an extended vacation, so we'd be too busy to catch a movie in the near future. We got some tickets to see Platinum Man 2 and enjoyed the movie together.
Ah, プラチナマン2泣けたな。
I was wondering like what the point of just speed running through a movie would be, but if it's to add to his inferiority complex, well then I can see, I guess, it being added in the story. I wonder if that's what's gonna happen.
ヒーローの前に一人の人間なんだなって、苦悩や孤独を力に変えて戦う姿に胸打たれたよ。
The first one was all Flash, but the second delved into Platinum Man's past. I'm glad we saw it.
でもびっくりしたよ。ワンからあんなに進化してるだなんて。やっぱいいよな、プラチナマン。テーマが深いし、何よりこう筋肉じゃなくて技術を使って戦うとことか。いや、まあ筋肉は確かにあるんだけど、でもメインテーマはそっちじゃないとこというか、ほら他のシリウッド映画だと。
We chatted about the movie while holding the Platinum Man 2 movie brochure. As we discussed, we finished our grocery shopping. When we got home, we spotted an unfamiliar boy. You know, I kind of forgot that he was even in here. Just wandering around, isn't he? He was hanging around Bumblepig. This is the new Cupid. That's what it says in the opening anyway.
確かこの子だよね。
That's funny. I just looked at the Bumblepig card. It's got a giant arrow sticking out of it.
わあ、本当だ。聞いた通りになってる。先代がいないけど、持ってっちゃっていいのかな？
あの子どうしたんだろ
Little Pig is a unique sight, so maybe he's curious.
う。声かけてみよっか。
Okay.
ねえ君、車が気になるなら。
まあいっか。
As Gill started talking to him, the boy nabbed the Cupid's arrow from Bumblepig.
キュピー
He yanked out the Cupid's arrow with gusto. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness.
今何したのっていうかどうやって取ったの？融合しちゃってて絶対取れなかったはずなのに。
He yanked out my Cupid's arrow. Wait, does that mean you're...
こんにちは、先代のキューピッド。僕はシルビー・スコット。新しいキューピッドです。キュピ？もちろんシルビー・スコットという名前は人間界に降臨する時用につけたものです。
The boy who called himself Sylvie gave me an enthusiastic bow. So he's the new Cupid. That meant he was my replacement. So the next Cupid is finally here.
はい、新米キューピッドですが、これからバッチリ人間の恋結び頑張ります。
Does that mean that he was an angel in heaven? I think it's called heaven in this world. They just yoinked him out of there. Put him in Cupid's spot like they did with her.
なのでこの金の矢を取りに来たんです。僕の仕事道具ですから。
In Sylvie's hand was the golden arrow he yanked out of Bumblepig.
そっか、そうだよね。これキューピッドの矢だったんだよね。
Aw, you've stolen his talking car now.
はい、妙な魂が宿ってましたが、これで元通り普通の車に戻りましたので、これでこの車が勝手に走り出して周囲の人間の恋結びを手伝ったりはしませんよ。恋結びはキューピッドの仕事ですからね。
普通の車ってことはまさか。おい、バンブルピッグ、大丈夫？
Gil called into the car radio, but Bumblepig didn't reply at all. It wasn't speaking and it wasn't honking like it used to. Gil's calls were met with silence. So it's really just a normal car now.
うん、そうみたい。バンブルピッグ、さっき悲鳴あげてたけど、あれがバンブルピッグの最後の言葉か。
And you say that it's its last words. It makes it sound so, like, morbid. The car is dead.
そっか。もう喋らないんだ。
That's kind of sad. Bumblepig was our car buddy that talked through the car radio. Gil was so fond of it, he looked pretty upset.
でもまあ、バンブルピッグもずっと車の形じゃ何かと不便だっただろうし、きっとこれでよかったんだよ。どこかで元気にしてるんだぞ、バンブルピッグ。
Gil shouted to his now absent partner, eyes tracing the sky. It felt like I could hear a distant of course in response. Given that Sylvie was already here, we decided to invite him to join us for dinner.
わあ、これが人間界の食事というものですか。すごいカラフルですね。
So why did Jupiter even let you come to the mortal realm? Because I guess the overall arcing story was that he sent her there to protect her, but that's kind of in his route. So in Gil's route, he's kind of not a fan of letting anyone go to the human realm. So did he only come down just to get the arrow? Are you undercover? Did Aunt Minerva help you get there? Anyway. Livy's eyes sparkled at the sight of Gil's cooking. He skewered a morsel of food with his fork and took a bite.
おいしい。
口にあったみたいでよかった。それマスタードを使ってるから苦手だったらどうしようと思ったけど。
I'm pretty sure that's a stereotype.
マスタード？ピリッとして最高です。
Who said who said little kids can't like mustard?
ところで聞きたいんだけど、新しいキューピッドってどういうこと？
それはもちろん、先代キューピッドが恋をして人間になったので、僕が新しく生まれたんです。
That's what you think.
キューピッドが空位のままでは、人間界の恋を導く存在がいなくなっちゃいますから。
あ、そっか。俺が彼女を人間にしちゃったからキューピッドがいなくなってたんだ。
はい。でも安心してください。これからは僕が人間の皆さんの恋結びをしますから。キュピー。
A little gleam. Oh my gosh, reminds me of a Moogle. Sylvie grinned broadly as he eagerly tucked into his meal. Oh, really? His innocent expressions and vibrant smiles were exactly what you'd expect from the human realm's idea of Cupid. The new Cupid.
わ、これすごい味ですね。匂いも。なんて食べ物なんですか？
びっくりした。それはブルーチーズって言うんだ。青カビを繁殖させて作るんだよ。面白いよね。匂いは強烈だけど、それがまた癖になる味でさ。こうやって蜂蜜につけると塩味がマイルドになるから食べやすくなって。
Similar to my initial arrival in the human realm, Gill taught Sylvie how to eat. That sight brought back so many memories. Together we savored that calm dinner. Once we finished eating, Sylvie jumped to his feet.
ご飯ありがとうございました。じゃあ僕はロサンヨークの見学に向かいますね。
今から？
調べたら夜の方が恋人がいっぱい歩いているらしいんです。キューピッドとしては見逃せません。まだまだ新米キューピッドですから、人間をきちんと直接観察したいんです。金の矢を回収するために降臨する許可をもらいましたが、せっかくの機会ですからね。
Okay, so you did get permission to go to the human realm. Overflowing with enthusiasm, Sylvie sprinted out of the door.
行っちゃった。
Do you think he'll be okay out there on his own?
まあ平気じゃないかな。結構たくましそうだったし、責任感も強そうだから。
Gil cast a sidelong glance at me as he spoke, likely reminiscing about when I first arrived. I made so many blunders back then. Gil taught me everything from bathing to laundry. Gil basically brought me up. I am who I am today because of that.
なんだか懐かしいね。君と出会った時のことを思い出しちゃったよ。
Me too.
あの時はびっくりしたな。マイクって男が来ると思ってたのに、こんなに可愛い子が来ちゃってさ。
Gil pulled me in for a quick peck.
俺のお風呂についてきちゃったり。
She did, didn't she? He's like, no, men and women can't bathe together.
一杯の洗剤をいっぱいの洗剤って勘違いしちゃうし。
Gosh, that's so embarrassing. But ever since that day, I've been careful only to use one cup of the laundry.
そうだね。うん。全部俺が教えたことだ。
Gil bumped his forehead against mine, a proud look in his eyes.
ねえ、新しいキューピッドが生まれたってことは、もう君は深海に連れ戻されたりしないんだよね。
Aw, he's worried about her leaving. That's right, I'm human now.
よかった。実は少しだけ心配してたんだ。君のお父さんがいつか連れ戻しに来るんじゃないかって。でももう心配しなくていいんだね。正真正銘、俺だけの天使だ。
Mine only. Gill gave me another kiss and a smile. It was probably for the best that Sylvie wasn't there as we got a little more intimate. Well, you wouldn't do that in front of a kid, would you? The rookie Cupid might have thought we were the perfect couple to observe, maybe. Yeah, that's probably true. I shut my eyes, hoping that the newbie Cupid wasn't spying on us from somewhere in Lost York. The next morning.
あ、久しぶり。新婚旅行どうだった？
ボルトモアまで行ったんでしょ？
Yeah, it was super fun. Thanks for covering for me while I was out. I passed out Baltimore's famous spices, crab-shaped sweets, and other souvenirs I had brought as gifts. Once I had made the rounds and greeted everyone, I returned to my desk. Alright, starting today, I'm back to being the human realms of Cupid, helping with matchmaking. I checked on the numbers whom the other advisors had been helping while I was on vacation. Once I had tackled some tasks, lunchtime came around. A few of my co-workers gathered around me, showing evident interest. Just in
ね
what?
えねえ、今日お昼同じ時間だし、一緒にご飯行かない？
あ、私も一緒に行っていい？
Huh? Sure, why not?
お、やった。聞きたいことがあったのよね。ハッピーフォレストカフェに行きましょう。
Oh, really? Once we arrived at the cafe for lunch, my coworkers eagerly fired off their questions.
ねえねえ、結婚相手って確かあの LCI 社の新社長だったよね。
Yeah, I did.
じゃあ LCI 社のいい感じの男の人紹介してくれない？
Wait, what?
ちょっとあなたがっつきすぎよ。
だって私も結婚したいんだもの。
それはわかるけど。
理想は玉のこしなんだけどね。私もセレブ妻の仲間入りして会社辞めたい。
Wait, you're gonna quit?
だってこの仕事ハードじゃない。入社してから一度もクリスマスに休めたことないし。
Christmas was our busiest time, so most of us couldn't take time off.
ここにいるのは給料がいいからよ。というか、あなたは会社辞めないの？
Me? Quit? Why would I?
だって LCI 社の社長ってことは玉のこしじゃない。辞めても平気でしょ？
Some people actually like their job. Quitting my job, I was taken aback because I never even considered it. It never even crossed my mind.
仕事好きだもんね。
I am Cupid after all. Well, to be precise, my urge to play matchmaker hadn't left me yet. But I did manage to prove myself to Dad, and a new Cupid was born, so it wouldn't be a problem if I did quit.
てか、旦那さんは何も言わないの？
No, he didn't say much.
へえ、そうなんだ。ほら、うちの会員様で会社持ってる人は奥さんには家にいてほしいって人多いじゃない？だからてっきりそういう話してるのかなって思ってたのよ。
Oh, right. Members with wealth and high social status often wanted their partners to stay at home. That was also why so many of them struggled to find the right person to marry. In Lost York, it's normal to keep working even after getting married.
私は結婚しても仕事続けていたいけど、確かに LCI 社の社長クラスだったらちょっと悩むわよね。相手が忙しいだろうし。
でしょ？それと新婚旅行についても聞きたいんだけど。
As we enjoyed our lunch, they asked me all sorts of questions. It was the first time my coworkers had asked me these things. I never realized just how interested they were in marriage. There seems to be like a lot of filler stuff in this after drama thing. So I'm wondering when there's actually going to be something happening. I don't know. Like the festival, which was fine. It was in Baltimore, I guess, but going to the movies, talking at lunch with coworkers about getting married. It's like it doesn't have the story part is unclear. Like there's nothing to do right now. It's just kind of floating from topic to topic. Once we finished lunch, I mulled over the earlier conversation while gearing up for the afternoon interviews with members. I didn't expect them to be so curious, but they are advisors after all, so they're naturally interested in marriage. It was on my schedule this afternoon. Then I received an unusual email. The subject line read, referred by my elder brother. Referred by. Wait, could this be? I recalled giving Gill's friend my business card at the Baltimore wedding. Opening the email, I confirmed my guess. It was indeed from the younger sister of Gill's friend who'd expressed interest in becoming a member. Okay. Hours later, I found myself interviewing Gill's friend's sister.
わあ、ここが CC なんですね。素敵。
Did she come all the way from Baltimore?
それでラブクラフトさんでしたら、きっと理想の結婚に導いてくださるって聞いたんですけれど。
It's funny, she's called at the bottom Gill's friend's sister. She doesn't have a name. Miss Lovecraft, my new last name, was already on my business card. I wasn't quite used to hearing it yet. A touch of bashfulness crept up on me and I nodded in assurance. Yes, I'll do my best as your advisor to help you find your ideal partner.
でも、私の理想の話をすると友達には、ロサンヨークじゃ難しいんじゃないかって言われてるんですけれど。
Of course, not everything may align perfectly. Finding a match requires a bit of luck. But I aim to provide as much support as possible to help you have a happy marriage. That's what all of us advisors strive for. To help match you with someone, please tell me honestly about your ideal partner. I smiled encouragingly and she fell silent for a moment, seeming hesitant. Finally, she spoke up.
実は、私、旦那さんを支えるのが夢なんです。
She went into the nitty-gritty of her perfect marriage scenario. She remembered this foreign drama where they used the phrase, with a wife's help, and it left a big impression on her. As a result, she was thrilled about her role as a strong support for her husband at home. However, with dual incomes being the norm in Lost York, she had been struggling to find the right person.
私、掃除も洗濯も料理も大好きなんです。好きな人のために家事をして尽くせたらいいなって思ってて。
I nodded in agreement with her ideals and was surprised by how similar they were to my coworkers' lunchtime confessions. Many of our business-owning members expressed wanting their wives to stay at home, and the ideal that the sister of Gill's friend talked about wasn't all that rare in Cupid Corp. Some members wanted their husbands or wives to stay home. I heard these requests more often than you'd think. If the match was solid, it would be a totally doable marriage scenario.
それに、働く夫を家で待つって、なんだか素敵だと思いませんか？クラシックでロマンチックだなって思って。
Maybe, I mean, I'm a stay-at-home person, but maybe after 17 years of marriage, it's not as romantic anymore. I don't know. Maybe because the kids are older. I do like surprising him with a clean house every once in a while, though. Like really clean house, because he really likes it when, you know, I cook and clean, obviously. But if I can make him notice, if I can make him admit that he notices the house is clean, then I've done a good job.
だからできればこの理想を満たせるような結婚がしたいんですけれど、難しいですか？どうでしょう？
Not at all. Thank you for being so upfront about your expectations. Bill's friend's sister. Why can't she have a name yet? Bill's friend's sister was worried I might not take her seriously. I gave her a reassuring smile. My job as an advisor was to keep our members calm and positive about the matchmaking process, but also keep their feet on the ground. We have a... Sorry, I'm still caught up in Gill's friend's sister. We have a diverse range of members, each with their own unique requests. And yes, there are members who prefer their wives to stay at home.
本当ですか?
Yes, your dream isn't out of reach. I recommend you to some of the matchmaking events with members that fit your profile so you could find your perfect marriage.
ありがとうございます.
She was clearly relieved and started to smile. She must have had friends tell her she was asking for too much. Regardless of her dreams and desires, I wanted to work with her to reach a compromise that made her happy. This was my job as an advisor. I'm back. I got back from work and realized Gill wasn't home yet. Huh. I thought he'd be home before dinner. It had been a while since he was at work, so he might have been abruptly pulled into a conference or dinner meeting. He's the president, after all. There must be tons of stuff only Gill can handle. Seeing Gill so swamped, I started thinking about the lunch conversation with my coworkers and the members' requests. Gill's friend's sister wanted to support her husband by waiting for him at home. Why doesn't she have a name? She has a profile, right? Like, come on. There were also members who wanted to quit their jobs to support their partner's busy lifestyle. Support their husband, huh? She looked so happy when she talked about her dream, waiting at home every day for her husband. That was a kind of happiness. I wonder what Gill thinks. Does he want me to stay at home? But if I quit my job, I can't do any matchmaking anymore.
Tadaima!
While I was pondering, Gill came back. Gill, welcome home.
Tadaima, Lynette.
What happened to you? Gill was covered in dirt, including his face, and I could smell car oil on him. Have you been working on Bumble Pig?
いや、まあ、ちょっと違うんだけど、工房で機械いじりしててさ。
Presidents work in the workshop? The workshop? That was the spot next door Gill rented and revamped for his car work. Oh. Is he making another Bumble Pig or something?
ごめん、今ご飯作るね。何が食べたい?
It's alright, I'll make dinner. Gill, you need to take a bath first. I nudged a grubby Gill toward the bathroom and headed into the kitchen. By the time dinner was ready, Gill was fresh from his bath. But right after eating, he darted back to the workshop. Okay. Bye. Take your break with lemon soda. We're going to read it. A few days later. God. One morning I woke up to find Gill had already left. Gill's off to work super early again today. I was on the early shift that day, so I had a thought I woke up earlier than usual. However, he was already gone. We hadn't been able to have breakfast together for a while because Gill had been so busy. It made me feel a bit sad. But he always makes it home for dinner. But when there were dinner meetings, he'd be coming home late. Also, he'd been holed up inside his workshop after dinner every day now. What's he doing in there? Gill had been burning the midnight oil on some project, causing our lives to fall out of sync. It'd been a while since we last ate breakfast together. He's turning into Shelby. We just got married. Maybe I should quit my job and spend more time with him. There were times when Gill was at Outroad and swamped with work. Days would go by without us speaking. Back then I felt super lonely. Once Gill told me he chose a job with flexible hours for his partner's sake. Balancing work and family was tough. I thought of Gill's parents. His mother waited home while his father was always working. What did Gill think about that? For now I just wanted to know his thoughts. I decided to chat with him about it when he got home that night. That was when I noticed a paper bag. Huh? What's this? The paper bag with the LCI logo was on a sofa. Inside was a car model. Gill didn't put this bag together because he needed it for work the next day. needed it for work. Just then I got a message on my phone. Is there a paper bag? Yes, there is. You left it. It read, is there a paper bag from LCI company with a model in it? Gil totally forgot this. I snapped the pic and asked if this was it. He called back immediately.
ごめん、急に電話して。今って君まだ家？
Well, obviously, she took a picture. I am. Did you forget this, Gil? Want me to drop it off?
本当？実は次の打ち合わせに必要で。でも君も出社の準備あるよな。
Where's your meeting?
ハッピーフォレストカフェでやる予定なんだけど。
Happy Forest Cafe. Understood. I'll get it ready immediately, so wait for me there. I'll try to be there in 20 minutes.
本当？ごめん、助かるよ。お願いします。
After saying that, Gil hung up. I glanced at the time and began to hurry. Fortunately, Happy Forest Cafe was close to the office. If I was fast, I'd make it there on time, plus I could grab breakfast there. I tucked Gil's paper bag into my purse to ensure I wouldn't forget it, then quickly prepared to leave. After getting ready in record time, I reached the Happy Forest Cafe. Gil arrived at that very moment as well.
リネット、ごめん、届けさせちゃって。
No problem. The cafe is on my way to the office. I'm just glad I made it on time. I noticed a group of LCI employees standing behind Gil.
社長、こちらの方は？
みんなごめん。今日プレゼンに使う模型、昨日の夜までいじってたからうっかり家に置いてきちゃってさ。それを届けてもらったんだ。俺の奥さんに。
Why is he embarrassed?
ああ、ギル社長の奥様でしたか。失礼いたしました。毎日お写真で拝見しているのに気づくのが遅くなってしまって。
いつも大変お世話になっております。本当にお写真通りですね。
Just like the photos. I appreciate how well you treat my husband. I wonder what photos they were referring to. That's when I saw Gil covered his face with his hands, squirming uncomfortably. Did you show them your angel folder? What's wrong with you?
お、社長のこんな顔、初めて見ました。
本当に愛妻家なんですね。
Their heartfelt comments made me wonder if he was always speaking so fondly of me at work. What does my husband say about me in the office?
ご安心ください。そんな毎日のろけを聞いているというわけではありませんから。
Just every other day.
ええ、とても理解のある奥さんで、毎日幸せだというお話だけです。
それだけでも本当にギル社長が奥様のことを溺愛なさっているのはよく伝わってきますよ。デスクにも写真がたくさん飾ってありまして。
At least that's better than what he could show you on his phone. Really? Lots you say?
ええ。なのでようやくお会いできて嬉しいです。
はい、私も。社長はいつも忙しくしていて、実は少し心配だったんですよ。私生活がおろそかになってるんじゃって。でも奥様みたいな方が毎日一緒ならきっと大丈夫ですね。
I didn't realize how much Gil's employees respect him. Now that he was the new president of LCI, I had no idea how he'd been received by his team. But based on their expressions and body language, I could tell they fully trusted Gil. Thank you. It's nice to meet all of you too. I'm glad to know that my husband is in good hands.
いえ、そんな。お礼を言うのはこちらの方です。ギル社長が就任してから面白い仕事が増えまして。
ええ。社長はいつもうちの社を一番に考えてくださって、今日の新しい企画も社長主導で動かれているんですよ。
A new project. Curious, I watched Gil sheepishly pull the model from the paper bag.
うちは男性向けの高級車っていうイメージが強いからさ、 女性向けの新しいブランドの立ち上げを検討しているんだ。実は君と話してたら思いついて。
Really?
うん。君が喜ぶもの、好きな装飾、君の視線の先を見ていたら、うちの商品に足りないのはこれだって気づいてさ。それにせっかく LCI 社の車は恋を運んでくるって噂になって注目度も上がってるところだったし、それで今日は内装デザインを手掛けてもらいたいカーデザイナーさんの打ち合わせにようやくこぎつけたところなんだ。だから。
Just then, someone with a unique fashion sense walked into the cafe. Minerva? I think I've seen that person from somewhere before. It has to be that famous designer. I recognized him immediately as the famous designer Gill has shown me in the Carcraft Road car magazine. So that's who you're meeting with now?
ごめんリネット。じゃあまた後で。
Yes, good luck with the meeting.
ありがとう。
I found a separate table and sat down to avoid intruding. I then ordered my breakfast. When my breakfast arrived, Gill was conversing with the designer, and they exchanged business cards with practiced ease.
はじめまして。ラブクラフトインダストリーズ代表取締役社長のギル・ラブクラフトと申します。本日はよろしくお願いいたします。
ねえ、よろしくお願いします。ここのサラダしか食べない主義なんで、来てもらえて嬉しいですよ。
ああ、私もここのサラダはよくいただきます。特に雑穀米ボールサラダが好きでして。
They started their conversation with casual chatter before smoothly transitioning into work discussions.
ええ、そうなんです。特にあの曲線美をぜひ我が社の新作でもお願いしたいと思っておりまして。
おや、随分とうちのデザインを見てくださっているんですね。ですが、LCI の車にはそぐわないんでは？
そうおっしゃられると思い、提案のための模型をご用意させていただきました。
Oh, that's the model I brought earlier. Gill used the model to passionately argue for the compatibility between LCI's vehicle forms and comfort with the designer's aesthetic.
このように今まで築いてきた LCI 社の伝統とブランドイメージは変えないままうまく融合できると私は考えております。実際需要は増えてきております。我が社の製品をご購入くださるお客様からも女性らしいデザインが欲しいとの意見もございます。LCI 社ならではの安定した品質と走り心地、ロングボディによる後部座席の快適さには安心できる内装が必要です。これからはより幅広いお客様にお届けしたい。それにはあなたのデザインが必要です。ぜひお力をお貸し願いたい。
Gill spoke with conviction. He carried an air of a representative from a long-standing company like LCI, exhibiting a strong desire to innovate. Gill's bold smile reflected his readiness for the challenge. My eyes were glued to Gill. I rarely got to witness him in his presidential role. You're gonna catch her staring at you. In that brief moment, our eyes locked, and my heart fluttered seeing him in such a mature light. Feeling suddenly awkward, I swiftly shifted my attention back to my meal. Yet out of the corner of my eye, I watched Gill negotiate, acting the part of the company president. Seeing this new side of Gill filled me with pride, a sensation I held on to as I finished my meal. She's gonna quit, isn't she? Phew. As my shift approached, I left Happy Forest Cafe, silently cheering Gill on in my heart. Once at my desk, I powered on my computer and checked my tasks for the day. Meanwhile, my mind kept drifting back to the image of Gill earlier. Gill was so cool when he was working. His eloquent speech and dignified mannerisms contrasted starkly with his behavior at home. However, to his employees, this version of Gill was the norm. They had seemed surprised to see him act differently around me. I didn't realize that Gill, as president, worked so hard to expand the business. He's probably going to be even busier moving forward. Gill expressed his ambition to provide products for a wider audience, and he was initiating new plans to achieve it. In his employees' deep respect for him during the meeting, I began to feel a bit uneasy. But Gill said that he got the idea by spending time with me. He said he wanted to create a brand for women, and he followed my preferences to understand what I liked. That realization stirred a desire within me, a longing to be by his side. Today I just happened to be home, so I was able to bring him the forgotten model. He might have been late for the meeting without my help. And that could have potentially ruined his opportunity. Gill's friend's sister's concept of an ideal marriage came to mind again. I always admired the idea of a wife supporting their husband. She said, "Don't you think waiting for your working husband at home is romantic? I think it's classic and romantic in a good way." Classic and romantic, huh? It was true that in the human realm, marriages had operated that way for a long time. That dynamic was the original form of a husband-wife relationship. Trying to deny it felt strange to me. The norm for modern marriages was probably both exist and both are fine. Gill wanted to continue expanding LCI, but what could I contribute? I pondered that as I returned to my work. Today I'm meeting with some team members, and then there's a networking event at night. I felt someone's presence beside me then. I looked up and froze. It was Sylvie.
こんにちは。今日からキューピッドコーポレーションでインターンをすることになったシルビー・スコットです。
Of course he is. Internship.
ああ、そうそう言ってなかったっけ。今日から新しいインターンが入ることになったの。面倒見てもらえる？
Intern. Sure. I was a little confused. After that, my coworker returned to her desk. I turned to our new intern, well, actually the rookie Cupid.
キューピッド先輩、よろしくお願いいたします。キュピー。
Yep, there you go, Sparkle. Sylvie's eyes glittered as he looked at me. I have to hit the button for him to sparkle. Sylvie the rookie Cupid was now an intern at Cupid Corp. You're still here?
Hi!
Oh my goodness. Wasn't that Ayumi? Wasn't Lord Mars mad?
大丈夫です。あ、正確に言えばあの後帰ったのですが、人間を見たせいで仕事のやり方に悩んでしまって、そうしたらインターンをするようにとジュピター様がおっしゃったので、また降臨したんです。
Well, doesn't Lord Jupiter have a change of heart all of a sudden? Lord Jupiter did.
はい。4年ほど滞在し、先代キューピッドを見習って人間の営みをよく覚えるようにとのことです。
Lord Jupiter just like dumped him in your lap. The previous Cupid, meaning me, had simply left home after having a fight with Dad and came into the human realm, but it seemed like Lord Jupiter approved of what I did. I see, so Lord Jupiter said it was fine. I wondered how Sylvie got into Cupid Corp despite being in the human realm for such a short time. Then I remember what Auntie said. Auntie said the Die Constants had the ability to manipulate people. Maybe it was Dad, Auntie, or even Lord Jupiter that did something. Either way, Cupid Corp was now officially recognized as a Cupid training facility for interns. Alright, then I'll give you a lecture for Cupids on how to do matchmaking in the human realm.
よろしくお願いします。
That started my busy life with my regular task at Cupid Corp as well as training the rookie Cupid. But you can't quit now. You're in charge of the intern. But I wasn't the only one who was busy.
じゃあ工房に行ってくるね。寝る時間には戻るから。
I know you're turning into Shelby. Stop it. That day, Gill was about to leave for the workshop right after dinner. Gill left earlier than me in the morning again. We didn't get to eat breakfast either, and he'd probably go to bed later than me. Every single day was busy with no days off. After coming home, he worked in the workshop. It had been like this for days. Stop him, don't stop him. Okay, it's stop him, but don't stop him first. Yeah, take care. That was quick. Okay, bye.
行ってきます。
Gill was also working on the sequel to Love Letters for You. At LCI, except for dinner functions or important meetings, he worked remotely while delegating many tasks to his employees. He was able to get a little bit more free time now, but he goes straight to the workshop whenever he has any time. I didn't know what he was making, but if he was that passionate about it, it must have been important. Maybe I should bring him something to drink to encourage a break. That way I could be with him a little longer. While I was thinking that, I looked up at the kitchen that Gill had cleaned up. Alright, back to the top. Talk some sense into him, Lynette. I'm going to stop him. Gill, wait.
どうしたの?
Well, you haven't rested recently, so I'm worried about your health.
大丈夫だよ。元気。心配してくれてありがとね。行ってきます。
Oh. Bye. You didn't stop him at all. He's gone. Oh, I could have went back a long time ago. Whatever. I thought they were going to have a conversation, but nope. Whatever. Alright. Well, I'm just going to skip all of this to the next part. I don't want to read all that again. A few hours later. Gill, you there? Entered the workshop and saw Gill bent over staring at the monitor. It looked like he was doing some programming. Lots of complicated stuff showed on the screen. He was completely focused and didn't notice I was there. What was he doing? There were lines of code there, and I just couldn't believe that this was part of doing car maintenance. Then again, Bubble Pig isn't exactly a car. It'd be like modifying a robot. I watched in silence when Gill finally realized I was there.
うわ、リネット来てたんだ。ごめん、気づかなくて。どうしたの?
Nothing. I wondered if you'd take a break soon. I brought some lemon soda. Would you like to drink together?
やった飲む飲むありがとう
Gill happily took the glass of lemon soda. Sat down on the chair next to him and we toasted before drinking it down. This is good. Lemon syrup for the soda was something that Gill made himself. He was completely focused on tinkering with the machines, but he hadn't changed one bit with these things.
はあ、おいしい
Good work on everything. So, Gill, what are you making?
と
For some reason, Gill looked away bashfully.
まあその必要に迫られて新作を開発中というかうまくいくかまだわからないんだけどさでもうまくいけばきっと俺でも
Gill started mumbling to himself when he glanced at me.
俺も君を守れるようになりたいからどんな敵が来てもさ
What kind of threat is he thinking about? He fought Dad, the god of war, so now I'm wondering what he's thinking about. Still confused at the whole thing, Gill put down his empty glass on the table and stared at me.
ねえリネットこっちに来て
Huh? Gill playfully opened his arms and I put down my glass and he pulled at my hand. Gill? He drew me in and sat me on his lap. He hugged me tightly right after.
いい匂いはあ落ち着くな
He's so cute. Gill seemed to have decided on taking a break with me on his lap. He took a few deep breaths and smiled so happily. Hey Gill, isn't it tiring like this?
まさかこうしているのが一番の幸せなんだ疲れも取れちゃうよ
He hugged me so happily, but I felt at ease being able to feel Gill's warmth up close and personal. Although we were in bed together every night, it'd been a while since we hugged while we were still awake.
ああ充電されるな
Gill hugged me happily, but he seemed to be tired. Are you tired?
うん、まあでも君がここにいるから大丈夫だよ。
At least he's not completely like Shelby. He'll Gil will notice her and take a break and spend time with her, and Shelby will barely look up from his computer. We kissed and he rubbed his forehead on me like a cat. We bumped both of our foreheads together.
それよりごめん、最近俺の方が忙しくて。
No, it's alright. Despite your busy schedule, you still managed to cook dinner. Thank you.
そりゃ君の体に入る食べ物はやっぱ俺が作りたいからさ。
That enters your body. He traced my belly with his finger, giggling.
だから大丈夫だよ。俺がしたくてご飯作ってるんだから。
I like husband version of Gil. He's got different ways of speaking. He's got like normal Gil speaking. He's got President Gil speaking. He kind of has it in between of that when he gets like shy and stuff. But then he's got like husband Gil speaking where he's super confident in everything, and it seems like he has a little bit of a playful tone too while he talks. I like it a lot. The lovelorn Gil Lovecraft. His obsession with me hadn't changed even after we got married. I know, I was just thinking possessiveness. I want to know what goes into your stomach. But if things get tough, you'd have to let me know. I'll take over cooking dinner. We're in this together, okay?
ありがとう。
Despite his gentle smile, it was clear that he was growing increasingly fatigued. Gil was swamped as the president of LCI, and he also had to do work in the workshop. Perhaps he was developing another product line for LCI. When I recall the coworker talking about quitting work if she ever married the president of LCI. If I want to be with him, it might be better to adjust to Gil's lifestyle. The other day, I was able to deliver his things because I was at home. If I hadn't been there, Gil would have been in a bind. Hey, Gil.
Huh?
If I decided to quit work and stay home, would you prefer that?
え？
I asked that cautiously, and Gil seemed taken aback.
そりゃあ君がずっと家にいてくれたら嬉しいか嬉しくないかで言えばもちろんすごく嬉しいけど、でも辞めたいわけじゃないんだよね。君仕事好きだし。
Yeah, that's true, but...
なら君の好きなようにしてほしいな。辞めたいなら辞めてもいいし、続けたいなら続けてほしいし。俺の気持ちより君の気持ちの方が一番だよ。
Her happiness is she wants to be with you. After saying that, Gil gave a bashful smile. As always, Gil respected what I wanted above all else. But Gil did mention that he'd be really happy if I quit. It was clear that Gil did want me to stay at home.
でもびっくりしたな。キューピッドパラサイトな君からこんなこと言われるなんて。
I just thought it would allow me to spend more time with you.
え？
Aww. Gil froze. I could see him starting to blush. I know, I heard that. I heard it in his voice. Just when I thought he looked adorable blushing. He reached over, pulling my face close. He kissed me passionately. Hmm?
ずるいよ。そんな可愛いこと言うなんて。
Oh, now you've done it. You flipped a switch on him. Oh my goodness. His tongue intertwined with mine, gently nibbling on my lip. His gaze, full of passion, seemed to pierce right through me.
俺もっと立派になってからじゃないとって思ってたのに。でも可愛い奥さんが俺のこと考えてくれてたなんて知ったら我慢できないよ。
He stroked my cheek and brushed my ear with his fingertips. Wait, right here?
ダメ？
Oh my goodness. In your workshop? It's not that I don't want to.
ねえ、リネット。明日休みだったよね。
Yeah, I took time off since you'll be free too.
だよね。
Gil gave me a suggestive smile. His inviting gaze tried to pull me in. That was the signal. She knows it. His warm breath touched me, making my entire body quiver. Gill.
リネット、好きだよ。
Possibly because I felt a chill, his fingers seemed hotter than usual. I realized when he touched me that I had craved his loving caress for a while. I always wanted to be in his arms. Lately, my days had been filled with work and sleep. I felt a kind of sweet numbness from his touch. I clung to him tightly. And right there, somewhere unusual, we made love. Oh my goodness. Our exciting and sweet night went on. It has to be incredibly uncomfortable in the workshop. It's just randomly asleep, like... The table? I mean, what other place is there? I'm trying to fit... Oh, there's a couch. There you go. Maybe it was the couch.
かわいいな。
He's still naked. Looking at Lynette as she slept, I smiled, as I did every night. Day after day, my wife remained the most adorable person in the world.
本当は何もかも投げ出してもっと一緒に過ごしたいけど。
But that wouldn't be practical. I wouldn't be able to protect her when needed. I wouldn't feel like a real man. There was a time when I chose a job with flexible hours to spend more time with her. But now that we were married, I wanted to be the kind of man who could protect her both socially and physically.
でもさっきはびっくりしたな。この子が会社辞めて家にいる方がいいかなんて聞いてくるんだから。
Of course I would be overjoyed. If she were there waiting for me whenever I returned home, I'd be on cloud 9.
ダメダメ。俺の願望ばっか押し付けないって決めたんだ。
Now that we were married, we should be equals. We agreed not to burden each other. But with how hectic things had been lately, I hadn't had a chance to be intimate with her, and that saddened me.
待ってて、リネット。俺も頑張るから。君ともっと一緒にいられるようにするから。リネット、好きだよ。
I lost count of how many times I uttered those words. I gently kissed her as she slept. Her lips curled into a joyful smile. It was so adorable that I found myself grinning for a while afterward. He's a grinning, love-struck fool. Led by oysters, oh my goodness. Well, that is where we're going to stop the episode for here. It's probably going to be about an hour and a half after I edit it, so... I mean, I wouldn't have gone further anyway. I know it's just a game and all, but they make it sound like you can just do that kind of thing anywhere and it's perfectly fine and comfortable, but it's not. Like in real life, I mean, if you want any kind of satisfaction from it in a workshop, I don't think I would get satisfaction. But that's just me, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to go into any more details on my thoughts about that, but after 17 years, the bed is still my number one choice, just saying. Anyway, that's it for this episode. If you guys did enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.